The Ink and Paint Club podcast is intended for mature audiences. These guys can't go about like 3 seconds without saying a swear, so, listener discretion is advised.
Say, look, I just gotta ask, what the fuck were you thinking?
You're listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast, your weekly home for animation reviews and discussions.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. My name is JD, and with me, as always, is Kyle.
Yeah.
Well, don't sound too excited.
Oh, I won't.
Well, good. And Matt is also here.
Hey, I'm here. Again.
Yeah. And I know we're a little late to the party, but so this week, we are talking about Hazbin Hotel, the big indie animated project that's been going on for a while, and it's finally out. It was out last week, and we were totally going to do an episode about it last week, but the night we were supposed to record, I think I fell asleep. So,
You sure did.
yeah, so we're doing it now, so fuck it.
I've got one word review. Yikes.
So I'm going to be upfront about this. I watched maybe a third of this before I turned it off. I probably could stand to sit through the whole thing, but I think I had to leave and just never bothered to go back and watch the rest of it. But man, from what little I saw, there's some good stuff, but there's a lot of problems. But let's hear from some people who actually know what they're talking about, and not me who's talking out of my ass. Kyle, let's start with you. What did you think of this project?
Boy, oh boy. I thought it was busy, and not in a good way. I think Vizzy's artwork works really good as still images, but seeing it in animation, it's not so good. That's kind of how I feel. I think her design work is a little too busy. It's just pretty much every character has just a lot of detail on it, and a lot of it is unneeded. Eyeballs, symbols, that kind of stuff. As far as the humor goes, I didn't think it was really all that funny. Typical, very typical adult humor. Very crass, very, lowbrow. Not looking for anything too smart here. It's going to be very lowbrow, suck my dick type of jokes. And it's not very funny to me. My humor has evolved a little bit more than that.
Has it?
Yeah, I would say so. And then, I don't know, I feel like a lot could have been taken out of this pilot and the story would have been the same. The whole Turf War thing seemed very unneeded. I don't know if you guys feel the same way or not, but I feel like if you cut out the entire Turf War, it would have still had the same thing to it. Would have saved some time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of potential here. That's like I'm pretty sure that there hasn't been anything officially confirmed, but I think it's kind of like an open secret that they probably got contacted, and I think they're going to be doing like a full show for this or something like that. Which I guess was the original intent. Like I said, none of this is officially confirmed, but I think everyone just kind of knows that. I mean, with how long it's been in production and stuff, and like the contacts they've made and stuff, I think that it's kind of a given that they're probably going to be expanding on this whole thing.
I mean, nobody makes a pilot without thinking that's just going to be it.
Well, no, but I mean, I think even before it was like finished up, there was already like, well, anyway, yeah, no, it's just. Like I said, there's a lot of potential. I think there's a lot of cool stuff here. There's a lot of good ideas. I don't know. I think I saw a lot more positive in it than some people did. I think that everyone's criticisms that they've had about it are all definitely justified. That definitely makes sense. Like, I agree. You probably could have gotten away with cutting some of the stuff that was in here. I see why they put it in. They just kind of wanted to maybe give an idea of like some of overarching stuff that they would be doing in the full show. I didn't have a problem with the animation. Like I like the character designs and stuff. They are all kind of like, you kind of know like exactly what influenced what's her name, Vizzy.
Yeah.
You know exactly the type of stuff that she watched growing up. Like you can tell like the exact influences she had in creating this sort of world and these characters and stuff. I would say, I mean, like, in terms of animated projects that use this sort of aesthetic, this style, I would say that it's pretty unique, though. I mean, I don't know that I've seen anything that quite looks like this. The closest thing that I was really trying to think of that even kind of touches on this particular aesthetic is Villainous, and even then, they're both like two very different types of shows, or I guess not shows yet, but prospective stuff.
Right.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool stuff here. The music I really liked. It was done by Gooseworks, whose work I'm not familiar with, and then The Living Tombstone, who I have heard a fair number of tracks from. Yeah, I guess they started this thing back all the way like in 2015, so to see it like come out in 2019 now is just kind of a testament to like, I mean, you got to give them credit. Like they actually followed through and delivered on a final product. You can't say that for like a lot of these animated projects like that sort of just come from like one person.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of this stuff never sees the light of day. Like they kind of cut and run with the money, and they never like finish this stuff. So I mean, you got to give them credit there. They made a whole 30-minute animated product.
Yeah, and I mean, for what little I watched of this, I do want to give them credit for getting this project done, and like for being for the most part very professional looking. I have problems with the animation, but it's kind of like double-edged in the sense that the animation is very well done. Everything's very fluid.
I was seeing the complaint that it was over animated.
That's my issue. It is like it's very well animated, and like the animation is good. It's just a little much. Like they definitely could have toned back like just a bit, because it's like everything moves a little too much.
I really hate the phrase over animated because it's a fucking cartoon. It has to be animated. To say it's over animated is stupid. Just make it live action then.
Well, I'm just saying that like at least in this sense, it's over animated to the point where it seems too busy, like too frenetic.
It's kind of like that scene that you always see reposted from like a season 1 episode of The Simpsons of like the babysitter, where it just seems like for the context of the scene, like it doesn't need to be animated that much. Like kind of like in a similar fashion, you know what I mean?
Now, I think something like that's fine. If you want to talk about something being overly animated, I would say Blue Hilda would be a big offender of that, where every phrase they have to morph into something. That is where it gets distracting. But I don't know. If something's going to be over animated, I would say that the fault would be it's extremely distracting to the point where you can't concentrate on something.
I would definitely agree with that.
I think maybe if, like you were mentioning, if the designs weren't so busy, if it were animated the same exact way, designs weren't so busy, I think a lot of people probably wouldn't have the problems that they had with it.
Yeah, because my issue with the designs and stuff like that is a lot of the characters are red and black. They have red and black all over them, and then the backgrounds are red and black. And
there's a lot of like sort of blending in. Yeah, that is one of the legit criticisms.
Yeah, but the thing with that too is that you have eyeballs everywhere, you have symbols, polka dots, stripes, all this stuff. And like I said, aesthetically, if you make a picture, yeah, it would look good, but animated, it doesn't look good. If this got picked up by a network, 80% of the design would have to be cut down to like save time and just animators like minds.
Well,
These
yeah,
characters.
because I so it seemed like they pulled like every major and minor internet project in some capacity. Because I swear, like every day I'd see a new person on my Twitter feed, like, "Oh yeah, I helped out with Hazbin." I'm like, "Oh damn." But I remember someone just the other day was after it got posted was like even saying like, "Oh yeah, I did some cleanup work," and just like trying to track the stripes on this one character was a pain in the ass. So I mean, I definitely kind of agree with Kyle. Like, if this did get picked up for a full series, like on a network or something, they'd really have to simplify things down. Um, and yeah, I agree that like still like as a still image, I really like these character designs. Honestly, I like Vivzi's art style. I think her character design is interesting, but when you finally see these characters in motion, it's just so busy that it's a little distracting. Um, but like speaking of like all the people who kind of worked on this, like just people that I'm aware of that like there's one artist I follow whose name escapes me. I think escapes me, but they work on the new Ninja Turtles cartoon. I think I saw Harry Partridge's name in the credits.
I saw Ross O'Donovan's too. I
Yeah,
don't know if he
Ross worked.
animated, but he was at least in the special thanks. I don't know.
Yeah. Joe Gran has a voice up front.
Yeah,
Uh,
you know what? I didn't know he was doing a voice in it, and I heard the egg voice talking. I'm like, that
Yes.
sounds like Joe Gran. And then I looked at Chris, because it was Joe Gran. The one that totally escaped me though was I didn't realize that Serpentius, like the snake dude, that he was voiced by Stamper. And then like when I went back and rewatched the scenes, I'm like, no, that's so clearly Stamper. I don't know why I didn't pick that up.
I
Yeah.
don't even know who Stamper is. I keep seeing people talk about him, but
He's just like if you ever watched any of like the Newgrounds animations that were all like sex parodies that had like a bunch of funny voices in them, he was like your guy.
hmm.
You've probably seen his work.
I think Izzy from the Pizza Party podcast worked on this a bit, and Kyle, weren't you saying that Maxwell has a like a short voice line?
He does a few voices.
Does he?
Yeah, I saw him in the credits too. Maxwell Adams, and then the only other name I noticed for the bit voice actors was Xander Mobus, who does
Oh yeah.
who does like Joker and Persona, and he's like the announcer in the last two Smash games.
Yeah. So yeah, they pulled a lot of people into this project, a lot of good people into this project. So it's like it's kind of disappointing that like it turned out the way it did. And I definitely agree with you, Matt, that there is a lot of potential here, and if like they do get an opportunity to like expand on it more, that like maybe they can take
I
some
will
of the
definitely watch whatever comes next from this because I feel like it's definitely got there's promise there. I feel like whatever changes that they'll make in the final sort of stuff that comes as a result of this, I feel like or I would hope that it'll be for the better.
yeah,
And not even in terms of like Kyle was saying, like the humor is like lowbrow and like all that stuff. And I mean, that's completely fine. You see it a lot already, but I mean, that's just how adult animation is. Like, it'd be cool to see people push the envelope a bit more in that regard. But if you're going to do it, I mean, at least it's better to look at than a lot of the other shows that attempt that same sort of stuff. As far as like the type of story that it's going for, like the setting and the aesthetic, because I mean, and we haven't even gotten into that. Kind of like the whole plot of the thing is like the princess of hell like wants to rehabilitate like all demons and stuff, so that there's not as many of them overcrowding hell, which is like this sprawling landscape that's kind of like I'm not sure if you guys ever read Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. It was done by
Yeah.
Jonah Vasquez, who did Zim, but it kind of reminded me a lot about that, like when Johnny gets sent to hell and it's just like the sort of cityscape and stuff. It reminded me a lot about that, and I dig that sort of thing. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm probably a bit softer on this than most people, just because there's a lot of the aesthetic stuff there that I really dig and stuff. But
oh yeah. One of my other complaints too is I found that the background characters were a little more interesting than the main characters
because they had because they don't all have the same body type. Yeah,
because the way people have been describing it is all the male characters have a twink body type. I completely agree.
Yeah,
they're all very slender. They all wear suits and all this kind of stuff. And then you look at the background characters. There's like fucking giant dragon monster guys and different characters, and it was more interesting to me than all the main cast. I don't know.
No, I mean that's totally fair. Like that was one of the things that I wish they had kind of changed up a bit too, and hopefully maybe that's something that they'll change about the final product too. Kind of just make them a bit more varied. Because I mean, even like every like main female character in the show too had like pretty similar body types too. Yeah, no, I can't even think about like if any of the only difference one of them has is like one's like pretty short, but that's like really the only. Actually, as far as main like characters or antagonists or whatever go, the most unique looking ones are Serpentius's minions, the Egg Boys. Like they look the most different out of any because they're not like humanoid really. That's hopefully that's something that they might take to heart, that they might change up.
Yeah, so I mean, I think for an independent project and for working on it for as long as they did, I think there is a lot to like here, and I do mean to like actually sit down and watch the whole thing, but I do hope that they can see the comments people are making about it, and suss out what the helpful stuff, and maybe like kind of put that to use to any kind of future extensions of this, because I definitely agree, this has a lot of potential, and I never want to see someone's project fail. I always want someone to make it the best it can be, and I definitely think there is room for improvement. It's not all bad, but it there you can only go up from there.
I mean, I don't know. I could easily see this particular project maybe heading the other direction too.
Yeah, that's true.
Hopefully it doesn't.
I want to remain hopeful that it'll go up from here. Let's put it that way.
It's very possible though.
I will say that it is pretty great that they haven't heard any drama behind the production, because that's been recently.
Yeah, everyone that I've seen on Twitter that said they were part of it said they had a blast with it. So I mean, that's good at least.
Yeah, we heard 12 Forever had a lot of drama behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Bojack and Tuca and Birdie have had a lot of drama behind their strikes, all this kind of stuff.
I mean, there was plenty of drama behind Viz, the creator, but even then, that stuff was kind of like,
that's more on the creator and not the project.
Yeah, no, like the crew as a whole for sure. But even the stuff about her too, like I researched it, I read up on it, and it's all like kind of stuff that's kind of like, you do stupid stuff in your youth that kind of sticks with you, and people don't forget about that stuff, even though you try to better yourself as a person. Like,
cancel culture, bro.
Yeah, and that's there's
yeah. Well, if I've gotten anything from this, it's that, man, I really hope Long Gone Gulch is good.
It looks like it's gonna be. I think Long Gone Gulch is gonna be fine.
Now,
Yeah.
interesting enough, if you guys remember the production stuff with Long Gun Gulch, they were like, "Oh yeah, we had to change this character's design to make it a little bit easier to animate." Stuff like that, where it's like, all right, see, I feel like the people behind Long Gone Gulch have more experience in animation, and this one's kind of really indie. If that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It's kind of like, yeah, because a project that's already got like a bunch of people that have worked in the industry, they know what's going to work and what's not going to. So there's a lot of stuff that they can change, like in pre-production. Whereas this one's like an independent production where they don't have like a lot of that experience, or they're just kind of hitting the ground running. A lot of these designs were probably made back in 2015, and then they never adjusted any of them. So
Yeah, like it's the same with like comic books and stuff. Anybody can draw comics and post them online and stuff, but there's a certain language that you have to follow with how comics are read and certain stuff like that. A lot
same
of
with
people don't
animation.
follow that. Huh?
Yeah, and that's the same thing with animation.
That's what it feels like with this. There's certain ways how a comic's read and how just the flow and everything like that. With Long Gone Gulch, you see it more professional done. A lot of people have come from Disney working on shows and different stuff, and this one, it's a lot of web animators that don't have that experience. If that makes
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see for whenever that comes out. But
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to say before we wrap up?
no.
No, I think we covered basically all the talking points that need to be covered. I kind of wanted to go a bit like on the background and talk of the creator and talk about some of the specific scenes in there, but honestly, it's only like 30 minutes long. This is definitely not going to appeal to like a lot of people. It's definitely got a specific audience in mind, and if you're in that audience, then you'll enjoy it, and if you're not, then you probably won't. But it's 30 minutes long. Maybe give it a chance, or wimp out like 5 minutes in like JD did.
I didn't whip out. I had to go somewhere and I forgot to keep watching.
Sure.
I'm rubbing off on that. That's
whatever. All right. Well, there you go, guys. There's our opinion on all that.
You were dying to know, and we told you.
Yeah. We put it on the schedule that we were gonna do it, and god damn it, we were gonna do it one way or another.
Even though I had to fucking urge it along.
Yeah, a little bit.
I had a whole page of notes. I wasn't letting let it go to waste. Come on.
Right. I can't let Matt's research and note taking go to waste.
I take this job seriously, damn it.
Well, at least one of us does. No. I appreciate your diligence. All right, everybody. So thanks for listening, and we'll catch you all again next week with something else. So take care.
Goodbye.
Yeah, whatever.
Thanks for listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter to keep up with the show. Join our Discord to chat with us, and subscribe to our Patreon for some cool bonuses. Links are in the description. We'll see you next time.